Hey guys, so today I'm here with a comparison between the iPhone 4S and the iPod Touch 4th generation. Now, to be clear, even though this iPod is about a year or so old, it is identical to the one that you would pick up today. So, a 2011 model, even a one in white, while it might look different, is going to be the exact same as far as the specs, the build quality, all that kind of stuff. So to start with, let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison. So, we'll go ahead and make ourselves a little sandwich here. And as you guys can see, of course, the iPod Touch is going to be considerably thinner. Now, not to say the iPhone 4S is, particularly thick, but it does have to have additional things such as, cellular radio, this bigger, beefier antenna, all that kind of stuff. But that said, if you're going for the maximum thinness, the iPod Touch is certainly going to win there. Now, moving on to the specs, the iPhone 4S all does definitely win this one, no competition. So if you guys are not familiar with some of the specs on here, the iPhone 4S does have a 1 GHz dual-core Apple A5 processor, so beats the single-core 1 GHz in the iPod Touch. It also does have double the amount of RAM, so you can go ahead and pick this up with 512 megabytes of RAM as opposed to 256. And if we flip them over onto the back, you guys can see here the camera on the iPhone 4S far surpasses the iPod Touch. This is an 8 megapixel shooter that shoots 1080p video as opposed to a 0.7 megapixel camera which only shoots about 720p video. So as far as the camera goes go, by far the iPhone 4 just absolutely trounces it. However, there's more to it, something than just a camera or some or a size. So let's go ahead and boot these up and go ahead and get a little quick comparison with the speeds. So we'll go ahead and turn them both on here. And I do want to mention that the iPod Touch is currently jailbroken and it will be slightly slower. However, on the whole of it, iPod Touch, there's not a whole lot as far as the jailbreaking stuff goes, so I do take these results with a grain of salt, but overall it's not really particularly that much slower. So the first thing is, let's go ahead and open up a web page. Alright, so I'm now going to load a website that neither of these devices have ever been on, and to make sure that the test is fair, they're both on the same Wi-Fi network. So let's go ahead and click go. So, of course, we expect the the iPhone 4S to win, but I don't know, that was actually not too, pretty close. I don't know, I'd have to time and watch the video, but I'd say there was only about maybe a second or two difference. So let's go ahead and try another test. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and open up an app, in this case Angry Birds, on both devices. So, neither of them have been opened and, they're all the memories cleared out, so let's go ahead and open it at the same time. So, looks like the iPod might have gotten a slightly better start. However, I think it's pretty obvious that the 4S is much, much quicker, going through all the menus. So, we'll go ahead and just let them run through. We'll go ahead and turn that volume down. But I think it was pretty obvious that the iPhone 4S was definitely much faster at opening an app, or at least opening Angry Birds. Okay, so I am now recording using the rear-facing cameras on both the iPod Touch 4th generation as well as the iPhone 4S.